Today, we're talking all things Pro Mod. We're going to be joined by the one and only Vic Alvarez from Bradenton Motorsports Park as we talk about the all-new Drag Illustrated Winter Series. We're also going to be joined in just a few short moments by the one and only Lyall Barnett, and we're going to check in with Kye Kelley to see about his first experience with the Pdra this past weekend in front of a packed house at US 131 Motorsports Park. Let's do this thing. Listen, I've never had any problem expressing my opinions, but what we're doing here is bigger than that. These are conversations that need to be had in an unfiltered way. Drag racing's all I've ever done. It's all I care to do. I respect the history, I appreciate how far we've come, but I want more for this sport, and I'll fight for it. It's uncut, it's unfiltered. This is the show of shows. The biggest names in drag racing. No holds barred. This is the great American motorsport. Drag racing. Prove me wrong. I'll wait. Hey gang, Wes Buck here, Drag Illustrated Magazine, checking in. It is Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. Hope you're doing well out there in the drag racing world. Thank you, as always, for joining us here as we digest, break down, and hopefully provide a little bit of insight and insider info on all things drag racing. We're going to, as I mentioned in the open to the show, we're going to check in here momentarily with Lyall Barnett, one half of the beloved Shake and Bake podcast with Stevie Jackson and Courtney Enders. So excited to talk to Lyall. I believe they're testing this week at the NHRA, what's it called? Indianapolis Raceway Park. It's a different name, it seems like, every time I turn around. So I had to remember what the name was. But yeah, they're testing in Indy. That would have been easier to say. But excited to hear about what's going on with Lyall. Big news today, obviously, when Vic Alvarez put out the release via dragillustrated.com that he had started the process of putting together a Pro Mod. I think that's crazy news. I'm excited to hear him kind of recount his experience making a couple of passes behind the wheel of Mark Mickey's twin turbocharged Pro Mod. So it's gonna be fun to talk about that, how this whole thing came together. Appreciate you guys all being here as always. Remember to click like, click share, help us spread the gospel of drag racing. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We appreciate you being a part of this. Honestly, we love talking about drag racing. We do it all day, every day, but it's a whole lot more fun to do it with all of you. So if you've got questions, if there's anything you want to ask Lyle, you want to ask Vic, you want to ask Kye Kelley, throw them in the comments. We'd love to get some engagement and get some interaction going with you guys. But before we get too much further down the road, once again, down a man, Mike Carpenter is doing Meet the Teacher with his little kids. So I've got that coming up next week. It's hard to believe the summer is already winding down. JT, you're probably ready to ship yours off to school, right? You just spent a week with them, 15-hour road trip to Michigan. And yeah, I was praying for you, bro. I was praying.
Yeah, man. It didn't bother me driving. Everybody else just kind of goes to sleep. So,
yeah. Did you watch any movies as you drove your entire family down the road? I figured.
Caught up on all my DVR and Netflix, and
dude,
I don't watch it. I just listen to it. You know.
Yeah, listening to movies are fine. I've read movies on planes. Whenever I forget my AirPods or don't have any plug-in deals, I'll just read the subtitles. And honestly, it's a pretty solid experience. I feel like I have a more thorough understanding of the dialogue when I just read the words and don't even attempt to kind of watch it. But no, man.
They do say that movies are better as a book. So you're on top of it, man.
I'm ahead of the curve, bro. Yeah, I've been reading movies for quite a while, to be honest.
You want to go to the movies and watch this new movie that just came out? Man, I would, but I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it. I only read movies are better if you read them.
No, hey, man, I can't argue, dude. I had some kids run. Sophia about burnt the house down today. Really? She decided she was going to make cookies on her own. So I was out on the phone. I was actually on the phone, shocking. And I get this notification on my phone that the fire alarm's going off at your house. Should we send the police or whatever? And I'm like, what the? So anyways, she just decided she was going to bake some cookies in the microwave. So she attempted to do that. And fortunately, Big Brother came to the rescue. But yeah, it's been an interesting morning here around the Buck household.
Sounds like it. That's the way to christen in the new place, right?
Exactly.
Burn it
get it good and charred. Burn it down, man.
Yeah.
Holy moly. But no,
here some Missouri people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no joke, right? All sorts of stuff going on in drag racing, man. We had the Night Under Fire this past weekend. Jack Beckman back behind the wheel of the John Force Racing Nitro Funny Car, super big weekend. We talked to Doug Winters last week, and their 1,000-foot Pro Mod exhibition went off without a hitch. A couple of action-packed days, but man, I was really glued to the Pdra race. Seeing the Pdra part of the Northern Nationals there at US 131 Motorsports Park, clearly a recipe for success. I mean, they've got the top fuelers, they got jet cars and all that, but to see that married up with the stars and cars of the Pdra, fantastic weekend. And I got to tell you, man, I really think, I mean, obviously, huge shout out to Johnny Cap, Jackie Sloan. I think it's kind of a toss up between who shocked me the most or whose performances were the most impactful to me. Seeing Jackie Sloan, it is shark-infested waters in Pdra Pro Nitrous. I would argue that there are few categories that, I mean, there's just no ducks. I mean, it's all hitters. Everybody's got very similar equipment, and it takes real, I mean, all sorts, everything you can imagine. I mean, it takes resources, but it takes a real dedication to your maintenance program, testing, all these things to be successful in those categories at this point in time. Pdra Pro Boost, Pro Nitrous are just insanely competitive. And again, all the credit in the world to Johnny Camp. When I called Justin Harris to win the deal, I really felt good about it. I felt like the Party Time Camaro was, they came off that big win at Pdra Pro Stars, looked like they were going to kind of turn the program around, made it to the final, had a mechanical failure that kind of kept them from being in the hunt. Johnny Camp, longtime friend of ours here at Drag Illustrated, one of our World Series of Pro Mod guys, awesome dude, gets the win in Pro Boost. Jackie Sloan, like I said, kind of seemingly coming out of left field, wading through shark-infested waters, as I mentioned, to take out Jim Halsey in the final. But I got to tell you, man, that first round matchup between Kye Kelley and Randy Weatherford, that was incredible. Like, you're all kind of waiting.
Wild. Yeah.
I would do, and brand new car. So I felt like you kind of had to preface whatever happened this past weekend with Kye's program. You would have had to say, hey, first time out with a brand new hot rod. It takes time, but clearly Kye, Jeff Pierce, everybody involved with that program, they showed up ready to throw down, and I was massively impressed. Like, to see a 104-inch wheelbase steel roof and quarters Camaro qualify in Pdra Pro Boost, just make the show, was impressive. Yep. But to go a couple rounds, like I mean, that's a really tough place to race, and I'm excited to hear what Kye has to say about it, because he sent me some really encouraging messages about how much fun he had racing with that group, racing at that level, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for some of the stars of No Prep Kings and Street Outlaws, as it were.
He shocked a lot of people. I mean, like,
I do. I think
groups, in some text groups with me, you know, as well. And yeah, people were like, "Oh my gosh," you know, like, I mean, which,
dude, I was impressed.
Coming there with a new car like that, I mean, that's crazy.
I was genuinely impressed. I mean, because if you're not talking about a purpose-built pro modified car, I mean, you're talking about a car that was built to race No Prep Kings, right? Big tire.
And you're talking no Pdra, the best
dudes in the world.
Yep.
And yeah, I was just, but how about the fanfare? That was what I was really excited about. Just seeing the stands packed full of fans. Like, what a weekend for drag racing. If you saw the grandstands or any of the pictures or video footage from Night Under Fire at Norwalk, the place is a zoo. You go up north or head a little west and get up into Michigan, the place is packed out. I don't know that we spend enough time really reflecting on just how big this sport is. Like, I know that when we look at drag racing through the lens, right, of how MLB is treated or how NFL is treated, blah, 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 it's easy to be like, oh man, boo-hoo. You know what I mean? We don't get the credit we deserve. But if you really look at how much of this stuff is going on and at the level to which it's going on, it's really incredible. I mean, especially with everything going on in the world. It's an election year. There's war in the Middle East. There's all these things. But drag racing just standing tall in 2024. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, we're like, how are we ever going to recover from the pandemic? And these tracks aren't going to be able to put all these, mandates in place and all this stuff, and it's going to be impossible. And look at where we're at now. I mean, it's just an incredible thing. I think about all the racing going on, all the different tracks that are busy, tracks being built, tracks being improved, investments being made across our sport. It's an exciting time, dude. It really is. I mean, I said that in the press release about the Drag Illustrated Winter Series, which I, of course, want to talk about here. But drag racing, I think a lot of people look back fondly on those days at Lions Drag Strip out in California and these huge funny car shows and all the things that happened out there along the West Coast. And I really think we're about to create a new golden era. Like when people, there will be a point in the future, in my opinion, when people will look back like, you remember when they started putting on those big money races down in Florida and they did them all within 90 days? Like, I'm so excited to have our entire season happen in 89 days. The entire Drag Illustrated Winter Series is going to happen in 89 days. 3 barn burner events back to back to back. We got the Snowbird Outlaw Nationals, I believe in its 60th annual running, coming up to kickstart things down in Bradenton. Then a few weeks later, we'll return for the U.S. Street Nationals. And of course, it will culminate at the World Series of Pro Mod with $150,000 on the line. We've increased the purses across the board. We're going to race for $50,000 to win at the Snowbird Outlaw Nationals. We'll race for $75,000 to win at the U.S. Streets and double that, the big 150 at the World Series of Pro Mod. And we got the man of the hour right here, Vic Alvarez in the green room. Vic, what's up, buddy? I mean, are we? How far away are we from getting fitted?
Oh, I'm going next week. Tuesday.
Next week.
Yeah, things are. I've kept this. You knew, but I've kept this pretty quiet for a while, just because I wanted to let everything happen and just kind of take my time and not put pressure on myself or the builder. But it's coming along fast now.
It's exciting, man. Why don't you, in the story that's on dragillustrated.com, if you haven't seen it, maybe JT, Blake, could you guys throw that in the comments? A great read. But you recount, Vic, your first experience, like getting this opportunity to jump in Mark Mickey's car, arguably the baddest or amongst the baddest pro mods on the planet Earth, and take a couple of rips. Just, I mean, I guess take us through this whole experience. Like, you've obviously been in fast cars before. You've owned fast cars, raced fast cars, a variety of different types of cars, small tire, front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, all wheel drive, I'm sure. But kind of take us through how this whole thing came to be with getting in Mark's car. Did you just say, hey, I'd love to drive one of these things one day, and he tossed you the keys, or how did this all happen?
So you guys all know I'm a huge fan of Pro Mod, right? Always have been. And I'm a turbo guy at heart because, you know, my import background, I love anything with a turbo, I'm in. So when the turbo car started to come back to life, that was really exciting. And myself and Mark have a good relationship, and, you know, he's a huge supporter of the track and the events, and we do a lot of business together outside of that as well. We just have a good relationship. And I think one day I just jokingly said, like, let me know if you need me to bring my suit or something like that. And he goes, yeah, bring it. I'm like, whatever. So he's testing at Bradenton. You know, we're talking, and I'm like, yeah, you know, let me know if you need me to bring my suit again. And he's like, yeah, make sure you bring it. So I go down there. No, I really don't think that this guy's gonna let me drive his car. Like, I know he would if I like pressed him or asked him to, but I'm like, this guy's not letting me drive his car. So we get there, he's running, he makes a good rip, and I'm still just in awe. I'm like, this car is insane. And I'm just looking at the car and hanging out with the guys. He's like, all right, you ready? Suit up. And I'm like, serious? And he's like, yeah. And I did it. And like you said, I've driven all-wheel drive cars, front-wheel drive cars, small tire, no prep cars, small tire nitrous cars. I've driven tons of different cars. And that was like the last thing, like the last hurdle that I really wanted to, the last, thing on my list, my Mount Rushmore of car things to do. And it was sick. It was awesome. I mean, it's crazy looking back at it because it was so easy. Probably not the right term, but those cars, like, if you drive a small tire car, like a stock suspension small tire car, that car is like trying to like rip itself apart and like kill itself the whole way down the quarter or eighth mile. Like, it's not built for that. Yeah. A Pro Mod, these cars are like purpose built drag cars. It was looking back at it, obviously it's really fast, but it was easy to drive. It was really smooth, and I got comfortable in it really quick. And like I said in the interview with Kayla, I haven't been the same since. Everything like I still enjoy racing, but I'm just like, I need to be in a Pro Mod. So
do you think like what was because a lot of times, especially with the turbo cars, it seems like the burnout is a fairly intimidating process. But I saw the video footage, and like, you didn't seem to struggle with this at all. Like, you're obviously well versed in the turbo situation with all the import stuff you've done, the 2JZ Supra stuff. But like, take us through that process. I mean, so you hop in this thing, warm it up, or just you get in it behind the water at everybody's favorite drag strip, Bradenton Motorsports Park, and then you you just started it up and you knew what you were doing I
knew what I was doing enough to get myself in trouble. Obviously, like every car has its own like nuances, like, hit this and hit that. Mark gave me a quick crash course, him and his guys, which the biggest thing was that like I felt comfortable with Mark, I felt comfortable with the car, and I felt comfortable with his guys. And like if you watch, some of these cars are like, the way they're set up, they're like really rowdy and violent. The turbo cars are a little smoother, which was why I wanted to drive a turbo car the first time I did it. Like I don't have any experience with like a screw blower, and those things are just like insane. You let go of the button and the car's just it's just all over the place. This looked like it would be a smoother, deal, and it would be more like what I'm used to, bump in, and I knew I would be able to do the burnout. Like this just seemed like it was more up my alley, and that car's just so dialed in and so well put together that like I really just got in it, did a burnout, and did like the first pass I did 330. Actually, no, first pass I did like a little more than 60 feet, whatever Mark told me. He's like, go 150 feet and let out. I did that, and then the second feet I went just past I went just past the 330. And I came back, and the car drove a little bit to the left, and I just corrected it. And Mark's like, oh, you could have made a full run. And I'm like, load this thing up and get it out of here before I get in trouble. But it was awesome. That car, I mean, it's just such a well-built car. And there's tons of them, not to discredit anyone. But when I watched that car go down the track, I knew that if I was going to do it, I wanted to do it in a turbo car. It's what I know. It's what I'm used to. It's what I love. And I knew that it would just be a great experience. And like to me, again, when I do go to do this, it's going to be easier for me to hop in a turbo car and be competitive in a short amount of runs than to learn something completely new and start all over.
What do you think, like, if you look, I mean, obviously, well, actually, before we get too far along, we got to talk about how are things down there? Like, I think the whole world saw the video footage, the pictures from Bradenton Motorsport Park, largely underwater. We talked earlier this week or yesterday, maybe it was, that you're maybe going to try to race this weekend. So, like, are we okay?
So, man, it was crazy. Like, when I first got the text and saw it myself, I didn't even know what to think. And I didn't know how fast it would drain because we never get flooding like that. That was completely unprecedented. Like we've never had flooding that bad since I've been there. And I've been doing events there since 2013, and I've been going there since 2006 or something. So I didn't know what the hell was happening, what was going to come of it or whatever. But so from what we can tell, they're already beginning these projects, these home projects all around us, which is, is what it is, right? We're just going to keep on rolling and go for as long as we can and fight it. And we have been, and we have tons of support, whatever. Let them build, cool. But they've put this berm all the way around our facility, and they're also raising the land and putting dirt all, to the adjacent to the facility. And what's happening now is the natural flow of water, it used to just run off the facility to where they put all this dirt. But now that's higher land than the track. So now not only is our water not flowing that way, their water is all flowing our way. So now we're trying to drain all the water from our 100-something acres and their 200 or 300-something acres, and it's not good. Hopefully we don't have rain like that again. That was a hurricane, so it's different, or a tropical storm. We don't usually get rain like that, and we haven't had this issue with the rain, with the summer showers and stuff. But it was insane. I mean, it that much water in that much amount of time, and I mean, and the thing is, in retrospect, it did drain pretty fast. The next day, the track wasn't flooded. So in 24 hours, the track went from literally Garrett was
driving
his boat down the track to it was dry. So it's draining fast. It's just so much water. It's insane. I've never seen anything like it. But to move on, the track is dry. We've checked out the timing system and dried, Wade and the guys have been working on that, checking everything, changing sensors, drying things. So far, so good there. We had our friends from 316 Speed come and help us patch up the road. We still have to do asphalt. We did just, some dirt and some millings and filled it all in and whatnot. So we're going to run on Saturday. We have our street heat event, which the weather looks great. That's probably the only good thing from these tropical storms and hurricanes. When they come in, they take all the bad weather with them. So the weather looks phenomenal for Saturday, and we're going to run. And we're just going to keep rolling with the punches, man. Like, one of the biggest things about what we do at Bradenton in particular is we just deal with these things. Like, we don't quit. Nobody on our team has any quit in them. From the Freedom Factory to BMP, we're a team. There's no quit. There's not a thing that anyone has been able to do to prevent us from running. If we have to move FL2K to Gainesville in 2022, we did it. Like, there's just not a thing that can stop us, and we're gonna literally run until like we just can't run anymore. That's the motto, and that's
it's
what
like
we're
the
gonna
secret
do,
to success. People, I have conversation with folks, and they're like, "Oh, what do you think? Like don't quit." Like, that's really all. I mean, in anything, like as long as you don't quit, you'll get there.
Start now and don't quit. Just keep on going and
don't quit.
That's it, man. Like, we're really lucky that we have a group of guys and girls that just love drag racing. And the same thing, like, that's why we work so well with Drag Illustrated. Like, we love this stuff. Like, we're not going anywhere. Whatever it takes,
100%.
That's what we're gonna do. We've had to deal with some crazy things over the years, and I'm sure this is not going to be the craziest. But
Probably not. Probably not, man.
We'll just keep on going.
I'm looking forward to this winter, brother, because I tell you what, we're gonna have to Katie bar the door. I mean, I'm telling you what, man, the feedback and the buzz from fans, racers, like the energy is good. Like, people are excited about this. I think you and I have been flirting with all these different ideas, and Vic nor I lack for ideas. So in case anybody is wondering, we have no shortage of ideas. But we've been talking about like what the next step was. I'm really proud of like the heritage that we've created with the World Series of Pro Mod, a brand that was launched on Thunder Mountain and out in Denver, Colorado. We threw our hat into the ring. We wanted to have our own independent Pro Mod drag race, a big production. We did that for 3 years in Denver. We marry up with Vic and company down at BMP and breathe new life into this. We pour all of our focus and energy into 8th Mile Outlaw style Pro Mod drag racing. Here we are, 2 years of the toughest competition the Pro Mod world has ever seen, the best show the Pro Mod world has ever seen. And next step is to triple down. So we're taking the well-established Snowbird Outlaw Nationals, a real foundational part of the operation at BMP, along with the U.S. streets, marrying them with World Series of Pro Mod. We're about to have 3 of the most incredible weekends of drag racing ever. And I just think it's so cool that we're going to do all this in like 3 months. Right? Like, it's terrifying. It's a big challenge, but
everything about it is just like really cool because, so for me, the Snowbirds was the first time I ever saw a Pro Mod go down the track. Literally, I stood on the first time I saw a Pro Mod go on the track, 2000 and maybe 14 or 15 Snowbirds. I'm on the starting line. And I believe it or not, I think the first time I like watched one of these things go down the track, it was Stevie Jackson. And it's a freaking screw blower car. I've never been around anything like that. I'm up on the starting line. That he gets up on the chip, and I'm just like, and he takes off, and it hits me in my chest, and I'm just like, I'm dying inside. Like all kinds of bad things happening to me. I can't hear. I'm getting like hit with some sort of force, and I'm just like, this is the coolest thing that you can do on a racetrack. And I was absolutely hooked. So, and that was the first like Pro Mod race at BMP, and then US Street was born, and then World Series of Pro Mod. So like just to see it all come together, and we've dreamt of these payouts, we've dreamt of this competition, these fields, the rule sets are amazing, the teams are amazing, the tuners are amazing, the track prep crew, like we just have everything, and now we're just gonna take it to the next level.
To me, I think that it's the thing I'm excited about is that we're offering a complementary function, like, because that's been some of the conversation that I've had is that, we have great relationships in this sport. We're really proud of it. We've worked hard. I mean, yourself, everybody here at Drag Illustrated, like to have good relations in this industry. I'm a big believer that, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And we go to great lengths to know as many people as we can and to have working relationships with as many people as we can. And I knew that it didn't make sense because you and I, we've talked like maybe we should take this show on the road. We should do some races here. We should do some races there. But the thing is, there's a lot of great racing already happening. And there's some incredible people already doing incredible things. The Pdra, I just talked about what happened this past weekend at US 131. Fantastic race. They have an incredible competition. But it's, we've also got Midwest Drag Racing Series. We've also got the NMCA. We've also got the Northeast Outlaw Pro Mod Association. We also have the NHRA. I mean, and specifically the NHRA Pro Mod Series. And like having spent my whole life in this community and drag racing, I remember like growing up when we were based in Missouri, right? So there was like a handful of tracks that we frequented. And it was always like the toughest thing. I remember like the look on my dad's face when he would have to decide who he was going to support that weekend, you know, because, we're good friends with Gerald Kramer and the guys that own Eddyville. We're good friends with Scott Gartner and the guys that own Cordova. And we don't, but they both got a big race on the same weekend. And you had to make that choice. And I personally, at this point in time, did not want to, you've heard me say, I don't want to do anything that I don't truly believe is good for the sport of drag racing. And I think introducing another choice during a time when there's some really fantastic things happening in our sport would have been bad. Like, could we have made it work? Would the cream rise to the top? Will the market speak? Absolutely. But I want to support and be a part of those sanctions and series. I mean, we perhaps don't have a closer relationship with anybody in the sport than we do with the PDRA. So the last thing I want to do is anything that's going to detract or take away from what they've accomplished over the course of the last 10 years. I want to complement it. I want to add fuel to that fire. And I think the Drag Illustrated Winter Series will do that. And
we're fortunate that that responsibility hasn't fallen on us because there are so many good series. Like if there was a need for a good series for our guys and girls to go race, we would do it in a heartbeat. But there isn't a need for it right now. And what I think a part of what has made what we do in the winter down here so special is that it's a melting pot of all of those cars, all of those series. These people that normally don't see each other all year. Like you'll have a PDRA guy racing an NHRA guy in the finals of a race, or a PDRA guy versus a Midwest guy in the finals of one of our races. These guys don't normally match up. So seeing all of the cars, all of the teams all at once and seeing all of the different combinations, I mean, it's what makes these events special. So like really what we have just works out perfectly. Like you said, it's a perfect complement to what's going on.
And I said this on Facebook the other day, but I truly believe this. And this is what the fans deserve. Like right now, you got to go. I remember when we started the magazine, if I wanted to see Frankie Taylor, I had to go see Frankie Taylor down in Texas somewhere. If I wanted to see Jason Scruggs, I had to go somewhere in Mississippi. If I wanted to see Todd Tutterow, I had to go out to North Carolina and watch him run in one of the Don Clemens Quick Eights or one of these other series. Yeah. And it was tough being a Pro Mod fan, like, because you had to be able to either travel quite a bit or willing to make those drives or whatever the case may be to see all the characters and all these cars that you've seen in magazines and watched YouTube videos on. The magic of what's happening with the Winter Series is, as you said, everybody in one spot at one time. I mean, every hitter, everybody with a social following, every big name in the indoor slammer drag and beyond, because that's something that we've kind of glossed over here, is one of the most exciting things about the Winter Series for me personally is that the door is now swung open for these guys that traditionally race another class. I'm here to tell you, there are top fuel and funny car drivers that are making moves right now to put together a Pro Mod team. There's nothing else going on, man.
There's nothing else going on, and we've created something that everyone wants to be a part of. Like
I'll tell you right now, a world champion pro stock racer who's never going to not race pro stock put in an order for a brand new Pro Mod last week because they see the writing on the wall. They see where this sport is headed. And I'm telling you guys, I know I sound biased, and I am, but the fact remains, this is the universal language of drag racing. Pro Mod is our sports path forward. And like, hey, look, I got some comments the other day. I bought me a little a little small tire, no prep car. And they're like, well, that doesn't look like a Pro Mod. Hey man, you got to start somewhere. And I'm not saying that Pro Mod's the only class of drag racing that matters or the only one that I care about. Not at all the case, but it is what I believe is the best foot forward for our sport. Like if we're going to grow this sport and we're going to put it in front, we need cars that still look like cars where the driver's on the left-hand side. These things look like life-size Hot Wheels. I mean, we can't ask for a better like co-star to our stars than
it's the biggest footprint. Yeah, it's the biggest footprint that we can leave. And it makes a huge stamp on the sport. Everybody loves it. Like you cannot go to World Series of Pro Mod and not enjoy it's not possible. You are going to be in the stands like, oh my God. Myself, racers that have no class to race at some of these races, they come and they don't go to just any event. They come and they sit in the stands. You know how hard it is for an ultra street racer to sit in the stands for a whole weekend? They do it with a smile on their face. Like, dude, this is sick. And it's, for a lot of us, I can speak on this because I've run so many different classes. It's the dream. We're racing to hopefully ultimately get to that spot one day, to have the skill set, to have the team, to have the tuner, to have everything it takes to run Pro Mod, and it's just cool, man.
I want it to be like
better.
My pipe dream is I want drag racing to be synonymous with Pro Mod. Like the way Kleenex and tissue are interchangeable. I want when someone hears the word drag racing out on the street, I want them to close their eyes and think of Jim Halsey's Camaro or Vic Alvarez's purple Camaro. You know what I mean? Like I want them to,
we're on the road to
it. We are, man. And I want everybody to know that we're just getting started. Like I really feel like this is phase 2. You know, doing a singular event was phase 1. I wanted to provide proof of concept, demonstrate that we could do this, demonstrate that we could maintain a certain standard, which we have done. And then the next step was to turn this into a series. We've got the Drag Illustrated Winter Series now, but I do see a point in the future when there's a regional qualifying series. I want to do a whatever we call it, the Drag Illustrated Winter Series Northeastern Qualifier, and we do a race at wherever, or we do one down in Texas, we do one out on the West Coast. I'd love to go to Bakersfield or something like that. And then I think the next phase after that is to create something of a farm league or a feeder series, because I know there's a lot of guys, younger guys such as yourself, that are, putting one of these cars together, or maybe don't have, the big sponsor or the big, benefactor or whatever to help them, but they got to get started, and we've got to give them a place to race and learn how to compete at this level, because there are levels to this stuff. And that's one of the things that I think has somewhat hindered nitro racing, is that there's really not a place to go get your feet wet and race those cars and learn how, all the things that you need to learn to be prepared to go race an NHRA national event. So I know that on my vision board is a farm league or a minor league, so to speak, that we can let these younger up and coming guys, Jarell Aplo. I think I saw another one sent me a message on Facebook the other day. These guys that are relatively new in their career, but have some promise, feel like they have what it takes to make this work long term. I want to give them a place to get some shine and work their way up to the Drag Illustrated Winter Series, man. I know I'm really proud of how far we've come, but we do have a long way yet to go.
Yeah, but it's also really cool to look back and see not only what we've built, but what the effects of what we've done have been. Like a couple years ago when I did 50 grand to win the Snowbirds, that was probably the biggest payout Pro Mod race of the year that year. And now you got options. Everybody else saw what we were doing. They saw that, you can get more sponsor dollars, you can increase entry fees, you can do whatever, and you can have a big money Pro Mod race. So now there's options. You can go 50 grand, 75 grand, 150 at BMP. We have the 150 race in Midwest. We have 50 to win at Yellow Bullet. Like, these races will continue to do this, and the whole sport will just continue to rise.
I'm proud of what it does for the industry. I had a great chat the other day with Ricky Jones. I've known Ricky for 20 years, man. And he called me the other day and he just said, dude, all the buzz in our shop, or all the action in our shop, and everybody that I talk to is around Pro Mod drag racing. I have these guys. I talked to JR Gray over the weekend, and he's like, dude, I'm so fired up about this winter series. I called and ordered another motor. I mean, it's just like, that's driving commerce in this space. I'm proud of that, man, because we talk about it a lot, but there's perhaps nothing more important in this community than great races. Like, we need racers, we need fans, of course, but we can't have either of those if we don't have great events for them to be a part of. And I love making memories, man. Like, I've got a notebook full of memories from just the last 2 seasons in Bradenton, along with a slew of memories from our time in Bandamere. But like, that's what this is all about. And I think that's what we have an opportunity to do, is obviously racing at a high level. Like I tell my teams, great racing, great competition, safe racing, all those aren't goals. Those are expectations. Like, that's what we know what we're going here to do. And those things can never waver. But I want to create like lasting core memories for people. I want people to come down and remember the winter they spent in Florida. I think I was talking to Manny Bajinga this morning, and he was talking to me about the infrastructure that's being built down around Bradenton. He goes, I guess, we obviously can worry about these houses and all that stuff, but it's not stopping Mark Mickey from building a shop. It's not stopping Doug Cook from building a shop. It's not stopping me from building a shop, because we want to be able to go somewhere and kind of plant our flag for the winter. And this is where we're going to be for 3 months. We're going to leave our stuff here. We're going to help our racers not have to spend so much money, towing back and forth. I just think we're going to make this cohesive in our own little ecosystem down around BMP for 3 months. I can't wait, man.
That, and I mean, I think it says a lot too, that like we've shown people that we're willing to also make these investments, time, money, whatever it takes. And we're like, we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. Like, that's just it. And if the time comes that we have to go somewhere, we'll go down the street and we'll build another track. But like, you can count on BMP and Drag Illustrated. You can count on us. We're here. We're with you guys. Like, we're not going anywhere. You can make a safe investment in building a shop here or building a new pro mod just for our winter series. You can make those investments because we have proven that we are not going anywhere. We don't give up, and we will be here for the racers and everyone else that's involved with these races for as long as we possibly can.
That's what I tell them. Anytime I talk to somebody, like, we ain't gonna quit. We don't know how to quit. Never have, never will, and I'm excited about it, man. It's I genuinely am. What do you see the reality, like the realistic? I mean, I know you keep a busy schedule, Vic. I mean, you guys have the racetrack, you've got induction performance, you've got all these shop cars and different teams you help with. What's the reality, you think, of how often you would actually be able to race? Is this something that maybe you put someone else in the car a little bit, dabble in PDRA, dabble, or what's your thoughts?
Yeah. So I really want to go on the road a little bit. Like, I enjoy that a lot. Like, I want to go to a PDRA race. I haven't been. I want to go to one. I want to go to a Midwest race. I want to go to a Northeast race. Like, I love going to other tracks, seeing different tracks and different facilities and getting ideas. Because like, in the back of my head, we may one day be building another facility, right? So like, I love going around and looking at other tracks and just learning and mingling with people and connecting with people. So I'm definitely going to, like, in the first year, just travel as much as I can, catch a couple PDRA races and a couple Midwest races, do the winter series. I'd love to do a Northeast race being from there. Right. Maybe go, I think they do one in New England, like they do them all over, but I would love to race in the Northeast. So get my feet wet, do an NMCA race, mingle, meet people, get the car dialed in, get experience. But long-term, I mean, I definitely want to focus on the winter series, the Yellow Bullet Nationals, because that's a really good payout, and I got to support Halsey. Halsey's been to every event that we've done, so got to show love to Halsey and Cecil. So we'll definitely do that. I'll probably do one of the Midwest races. 150 grand, I think, is what they're doing, or 100 grand to win. Like, big money. I got to support that, and that motivates me, right? That makes me want to go. And when I can't drive, my boy Troy Perez will hop in there. Troy Perez Jr., me and him have raced together for years as competitors and as teammates. And whenever I can't get in the car, that's who will get in it. And like, there will be times where I might say for the Snowbirds that I'm too busy running the race, and when I get in the car, I like to focus. We've talked about this. So I might say, hey, Troy, get in the car, let's go. And he has, he may have some ideas, some races he wants to do too, and we're a team. So wherever.
What do you make of? Don't you feel like there's actually, and like I said, this kind of it doesn't. It's not. I'm not trying to be hypocritical, but I also think that there is some opportunity for the guys that really just don't have the time or the inclination to race a traveling series, because that's a lot of the people that I've had reach out over the course of the last few days since we made our announcement on Friday, August 2nd, were guys that haven't really maybe had a really strong presence in the sport of drag racing, but pulled back. Their business grew. They didn't have the time, but now they see an opportunity to go, compete for a championship, race for big money in front of big crowds, and do it in one location inside of 90 days. And I think we may see some names come back to our sport that have gone away, because most every racer that is going to race at this level, they want to know that they want to go compete for something big, like a world championship, a point series, whatever. And if they can't commit 12 weekends, 20 weekends, whatever the case may be, this is a really good option for some of those teams. So
this hits every checkbox for me. Like, I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. I can't commit to an NHRA schedule right now. I can't, but between that, the business, whatever, I can't do it. And then some of these series have rules that you can have like somebody sub for you like once or twice for the season. Like, I still can't make all the races. We have our own huge, really packed schedule. This fills every void that would create. So this is going to be really cool. And like you said, I think we'll have some surprise guest drivers that we would not normally see in a pro mod competing, because A, they can, and B, they want to.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I can't wait to see. That's where the magic is going to happen, is when we can get Like, can you imagine a world in where we've got Antron Brown racing Stevie Fast and Melanie Salemi racing Erica Enders, and they're all in, like, that's what's so exciting about this is the cars level the playing field, and we still have this eclectic mix of turbo cars, blower cars, nitrous cars, etc. But the competition is so close amongst all those cars. Shout out to our own John Sears and Mike Carpenter for all the effort that has gone into getting these cars as close as we have them. 2 years in a row, record-breaking 32 car fields. We got 32 cars, a multitude of power adders spread across 600ths of a second. I mean, it's incredible, man.
It doesn't get better.
To see it grow. I cannot wait, man. Well,
Vic,
seriously, dude, thank you so much, dude. I think we're about to set Bradenton on fire. Last time I posted that on Facebook, they locked my account for a week. I think they thought I was serious, but I actually am.
It was a threat.
It was a threat, but no, we're gonna. Bradenton is burning, baby.
It's not a threat. It's a promise. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be awesome. I'm here for it. I'm here for the ride. I'm just excited, man. We get to do this with our friends. Like it's just this doesn't get any better than it is. And I see Lyall in the comments. Lyall better be careful too, because
there he is.
I've got something for him now. He talks crazy to me. I might have to get on him.
What's up, Lyall? What's up, Lyle? Long time, boss. One half of the Shake and Bake show, or excuse me, 1/3. I don't mean to leave Courtney out there. I'm in trouble for that comment.
The better third.
The better third, man. I understand that you're testing in Indy. Looks like you're in Scott Tidwell Racing World Headquarters there.
I'm actually in Jose's lounge here. He's got a nice recliner. It's pretty nice. I'm fresh out of the car. They literally brought me a scooter to the top end. I rushed back, and my car's not even back yet. But yeah, we're testing.
Make a good hit.
How'd it go?
Yeah.
So we're testing. I think you guys may have talked about it a little bit, but they took some fluid manipulation away from us in the transmission department. So this is our first time testing the petty way, as I like to call it. Old man still likes to do it the old way, but we're still trying to figure all that back out. You kind of get yourself way off in left field when you got a rule package that says one thing, and when they just take that away, you kind of have to get back. So we've already made a stator change today, and that run felt good. I have no idea what it ran. I just know when I went by the tree, I was red for the third time in a row today. So we got to fix that. But better than being
that's behind the steering wheel.
Yeah, better than being slow like J.R. Gray though. So anyway, moving on.
Well, hey, while I've still got Vic on here, just immediate reaction to the news of the Drag Illustrated Winter Series. You and I, we're boys. We talk a lot or whatever, so you know what's going on, or you've known that there were rumblings. But I mean, what's your reaction, and what's been the reaction of your peers? We're fired up. You've just minced us rambling about it for an hour here, but what's your take?
Well, I'll tell you this: when I got off I had travel disaster yesterday, like most people trying to fly from the East Coast. But when I got off the plane in Indy last night at 11 o'clock, I immediately called Scott Tidwell, and I said, listen, when you get here tomorrow, we got to go to dinner and sit down, because I got to lock in a seat for what's to come for the Winter Series, and he, of course, is all about it, and he's got 14 Pro Mods and 900 Hemis and 2,000 Pro, we've got all the stuff. But I'll be honest, I felt like there was something big coming there for a long time, like as I've raced it for the past few years, and I'm pretty green compared to some who have been running this deal forever. I was talking to Ken Cartuccio, my teammate, who's here this weekend, and he was talking. I think he's won the U.S. Street Nationals like 7 times or something between the 40 classes he's competed in there. And I was fortunate enough to win the Snowbirds last year. But I'm as excited as I've ever been. I'm 100% focused on what's going on in the NHRA and running for a championship. The points reset, start at U.S. Nationals in a couple weeks. I did not have a great regular season, but the points have reset, and I feel like we've obviously got the team and the parts. We just got to put it all together and make a good run these last 4 races. But I'm already looking forward to what's to come in the winter. And there's two reasons I called Scott yesterday. One, you got to nail him down about 6 months in advance, or he'll be out making another $1 million, some huge business deal he struck somewhere. But 2, I just want to have something in place, figure out what we're running, and start testing it. Because you're not going to be able to show up there, take an NHRA car, convert it in 2 days, and show up there and run with these guys. You just can't do it anymore. You got to have an ironed out program. You watched Jason Harris run this past weekend. Absolutely had the car to beat. Just had some unfortunate parts failures in the final Pdra this past weekend. But that dude was running strings of high 50s and low 60s, and that's what it's going to take. The bump's going to be 64 or better, I think,
I'm thinking 64 or 5.
And I think that, you could run 61 with a 6, and there may be 5 of those, right? You may be out of the top half and run equally as good as somebody who's 7th, right? So, I'm as excited for that as I am anything else. The payouts are great, but I was talking with Ken Cartuccio's wife, and I hate this word, but the vibe down there it's different. You know what I mean? You're in Florida in the winter, the weather's nice.
I got goosebumps.
Happy, beer it just seems colder. Yingling is still the best one you can put to your lips.
It's fresh. We get it local. The Yingling.
And I'll fight with anybody over it. If you bring anything other than a Yingling to the table, I'll just replace it with one. But it's just different down there, and I've had some success there. If we can ever work out that win all 3 deal that Wes, you and I have talked about, I don't think it'll ever happen. I just think the competition's too good. But the chance to win all 3 of them, you write your name, you etch it in the history book, and I can't wait.
I got to tell you, man, I really think what it boils down to is really a mindset shift. I yelled and screamed at everybody in the drivers meeting at World Series this year that you guys are the baddest sons of bitches walking, and gals. You need to walk around with your chest puffed out. Not everybody will drive one of these things. Not everybody would even strap into one. You know what I mean? So to be out here and be amongst the best in the world at this, I mean, this is a rare group of people, and we need to start acting it. And I think that's what if I'm trying to accomplish anything down at the World Series and Pro Mod when we're there, I'm just trying to get everybody to believe what this group of people is capable of and what this can be, man. I mean, this will be the biggest thing in all of drag racing in the very near future. And I can't wait. And especially when those, the walls are already coming down, but you get some of these guys that spend their year racing Top Fuel or racing Funny Car. This could be drag racing's Chili Bowl. That's what I really look at this as, is the Chili Bowl is this coming together of everybody in roundy round racing, stock car racing, dirt racing. They all show up and throw their hat in the ring at the Chili Bowl. We're about to have a prolonged Chili Bowl, a 3-month party that happens at Bradenton Motorsports Park. We're going to have fun from start to finish. We're going to race at a high level from start to finish, and we're going to have a damn good time doing it, man. So I'm genuinely excited about it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's cooking in the NHRA Pro Mod series? And Vic, if you want to bow out, we can cut you loose, buddy. I know that you've got probably things to do.
No, I'm hanging out. I enjoy this stuff, man.
Okay, good.
We're here.
Well, just kind of catch us up. I mean, I know that you're not afraid to talk shop with us. So there has been all sorts of rumblings throughout 2024, various rule situations. What's your thoughts on, where the NHRA Pro Mod series is right now?
Well, I think that there's been a kind of a general agreement amongst the class that and this is not a shot at the NHRA tech department, but there's just been a lack, I feel like, of focus. They've in the past they've kind of let combinations run away. The Pro Charger had just dominated for a couple seasons, and then they knocked its pecker in the dirt. And then the nitrous cars seem to have the favored rule set, but Ricky's a smart racer, and now it looks like the Roots has an advantage. So, and it's a lot to manage. I get it, and to try to keep everybody in check and parity, as we all like to throw that word around. But right now, I personally feel like it's probably as close as it's ever been. Some people would argue that the Pro Chargers had the advantage. They do not have the lowest ET for the year. I just feel like the Pro Charger drivers have raced better. And I'm not speaking on myself. I've had a pretty rough season. But I just feel like the Pro Charger guys have raced better this year. And I think that coming into the countdown, being that they've made this rule change during our break, I think they thought they made the change and it would give us time to figure it out. But it's a terrible time of the year to test, right? Where are you going to go where it's not 9,000 degrees? The correction factor is not 110. It's a tough time to make a rule change like that. And then us try and go iron it out for the latter half of the season when the air is going to start getting good. We're going to come here to Indy in a couple of weeks. It's probably going to be hotter than Satan's basement. But then we're going to go to St. Louis, and then we're going to go to Charlotte in late September. The air could be really good. We're going to go to Vegas. So I'm 50-50 on how I kind of feel like the back half of the season is going to go. you could very well see someone like Jason Scruggs come out and absolutely slap the piss out of everybody every race. That dude has serious horsepower. He's been doing it since the day I was born, and he's good at it. You know, Mike Janis and his crew have really turned it around this year. JR's car is running well. Mike Stravinos is coming into his own. You know, the screw cars are running well. Brad Personette with the Bahrain 1 team with Justin Bond and Khaled Al-Balushi are running well. All the Pro Charger cars have obviously ran good all year, but like I said, I just feel like they've raced better. So I feel like the rule package from the outside looking in looks like it's in a good spot. But obviously the scoreboard will tell the story here in a couple weeks. So I don't think you'll see any rule changes the rest of the year. I think with 4 left, they're probably just going to leave it alone. And if something runs away, it's just, you know, sorry about it. We'll work on it for 25. But, you know, I'm excited, man. It's the countdown deal is, you know, it gives somebody like myself who's had a pretty rough season a chance to run for a championship, you know. And like last year, Mike Castellana at this point in the year had championship was not even on his radar, right? You know, and honestly, when he won the championship in Vegas, when he got out of the top and he had no idea, his crew didn't know, nobody knew he just won the championship. So, you know, it sucks for somebody who's ran really good all year long and probably has a chokehold on the points at this point in the season. But, you know, it shakes it up and causes everybody to race pretty honest the rest of the year. So I'm excited. You know, do I think we've got a car and a team that can win a championship? 100%. I've driven pretty good this year. You know, we are leading the King of the Stripe deal, which if those of you watching are unfamiliar with that, they're paying $10,000 at the end of the year for the car and driver who has the best average, and they take it from certain rounds of qualifying and certain rounds of eliminations. But I'm leading that deal by a considerable amount right now, and I have the slowest best ET of the year. So we've had a consistent car. We just haven't had the fastest one out there, but you know, it's that's drag racing, dude. You know,
what about Stevie Jackson throwing his hat back in the ring? It's been a while since we've seen him like a consistent presence behind the wheel, but every time he shows up, he's a difference maker. Be there, no doubt. Brand new shop down there. Big things happening, it would seem, around Stevie, but he's gonna bring the shadow back out. Is that gonna? We're gonna see like the domestic unfold on the Shake and Bake show. Yeah,
and I had no idea. You know, Stevie, that's kind of his deal. He says he's got a big announcement. He comes on the show, and I have no idea that I had no idea what was happening. Doug didn't tell me. Nobody had told me. They kept it a secret pretty good. But there's no denying that when that dude shows up, he is somebody. He is a contender. I mean, he came to the World Series of Pro Mod with a brand new car, and had he not turned it red in the semis, I think he would have won it. You know, it just seemed like he was driving good. The car was running good. I don't know that there was a car that consistent all day long. You know, obviously very happy for Derek Ward. But shut up, Courtney. Get your dairy cow pants back on. Make the yard. I did wipe it off. It's just shut up.
Yeah, it's permanent.
But anyway, you know, Stevie he shakes it up. He talks the talk, and he walks the walk, and I feel like it's going to be good for the class. He has a huge following. You know, like him, love him, or hate him. The dude's good for the sport, and for him to show up and come back quarter mile racing with us at the U.S. Nationals, I fully expect him to, you know, qualify in the top half and probably be somebody to worry about on Sunday.
What's do you have any idea? Is he going to race like throughout the remainder of the season, or not sure? I'm sure.
I don't. You know, I would say it would be performance based. You know, if he comes out here and does well or wins, I would say he'll probably continue on. You know, there's no denying he hasn't had the best year with Sydney's car. They've struggled a little bit, and that's obviously his main focus. If it came down to it and one of them had to go to the next round at the U.S. Nationals, I'm pretty sure he'd send Sydney on, you know. So I think it'll just be a kind of a whether he can afford it and performance-based deal. If he runs well, I don't see him just parking it for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
If he wins, he's coming back.
100%.
You don't. It's so hard. It's so hard to win a race and not go to the next. Your car could be dilapidated, wheel falling off. That energy, you're going to the next race.
Hey, look, we've got trouble in the green room, guys. I think the dude who shook up the entire Pdra world. Let's just throw him in the party. The one and only Kye Kelley. What's up, Kye?
Not much, man. Just working.
Rogue shirt. Well, you look like you're working out now. What are we doing? Are you a CrossFitter?
No, I had to take a shower. I was musty, man.
I figure you're working out now. Well, hey, tell us about your first. I mean, I don't know about Vic and Lyall, but I think one of the most impressive performances from the PDRA event this past weekend at US 131 Motorsports Park was the performance of this old boy right here. Brand new, shorter wheelbase, steel roof and quarters, third-gen Camaro, back kind of in the car that helped him become the Kye Kelley we all know. 369 in the second round. Had to go head-to-head with the Carolina kid, but got the job done in the first round against Randy Weatherford. Hell of a race. I was blown away, Kye. Not that I don't expect that, but you always hear about what all the MPK cars run, and they ran this, or they ran that, or I know that guy's been this fast. But to see you go down there, or go up there and light the scoreboards up, man, you got to be pretty proud of that.
Yeah, man, it was cool. Jeff kept trying to talk me into coming over there, and I've always liked the PDRA. I used to go to it with Lizzie all the time, so I went, and that was my goal, just to run in the 360s. And I drew Weatherford first round, and I've been watching him go fast forever. So I was like, all right, guys, y'all can go ahead and start picking up, And went out there, and luckily he slept on the tree, and the car made a good pass, so we beat him. And then I was like, well, we might have a chance, not to beat people on a hole shot. So we started taking a little delay out of my box. I was trying to get close to 000 as I could, and drew Travis Harvey, and everybody knows what he does. So I kind of knew my day was over. I went 0-12 on the tree. He was 0-11, so there wasn't no advantage there. And of course, he's got a faster car than me. So went out second round, but I was still pretty proud of it, man.
I mean, you think you should be, Kye, because I think everybody on here will tell you that some of the best racing happening in the entire country is happening in the PDRA. And to go out there and dive right in, not only qualify, but go a couple rounds, I mean, I think you should be real proud. What was your just overall impression of racing with the PDRA? You sent me a text that I thought we need to make sure people hear this. It sounds like you had a good time. What was your take on the experience?
Yeah, I mean, I really had fun, man. Like, there was no stress there. It's just we was there having fun, making laps in our car, getting to know our new car. So it was a very less stressful weekend for me, and we were going fast. Went faster than I ever have. So that was it was a bunch of pluses. I'd never been 204 miles an hour, so that was cool. My front end caved in on that pass because we don't set our cars up to go that fast. So we got that fixed now. So maybe next time it'll be ready.
What do you make of what can you say about Jeff Pierce? I mean, Lyall, you work with a lot of different tuners and throughout your career, as have you, Vic. You always kind of wonder who's next, like who's going to be one of the next difference makers out here. And I remember putting Jeff in our 30 under 30 when he was just kind of getting started with tuning cars and offering that type of service to folks. But now he is clearly one of the top tier tuners. I mean, what can you say about the experience of racing with Jeff Pierce?
Man, to be honest, I've been lucky with tuners. Starting out, I had Adam Drzajic. He was always really good. And then met Jeff, and man, on no prep, whatever. If you give Jeff one hit at that track, you can bet your ass you're going down on the next pass. So he's just a good guy, man. He knows his stuff, and at first when I first met him, I wouldn't really listen to him because I've really done a lot of my own chassis work, suspension, and all that my whole life, and now, though, I trust him. I just let go of the button and turn the steering wheel. If he tells me to put rear steer in it, I just do it, whatever he says. So he's got a good handle on my program, and only thing that sucks is I'm used to being hands-on, so I really can't go anywhere without Jeff, without having Wi-Fi. So I need to get a handle on that so I can kind of race on my own if he ever gets mad at me. But for now, we're 100% dependent on Jeff, and he's doing a really good job.
Do you what's your take on the rest of we're getting ready to head out west with the No Prep series? You got Idaho, Spokane, Washington, and then head to Vegas middle of September. So yeah, this little bit of a West Coast swing for you guys. What's you looking forward to that?
Man, I like racing out west because a lot of the tracks are pretty. The sceneries you don't get to see. What does suck is, you can blow your engine up, which I've done several times out west. The air's not real good. It's hot. Toter home tires blow out. I can't drive 85 like I like to do, to get places because I'm the only one driving my toter. So I just try to, get there fast as I can. And it's just a lot of downs. But as far as the racing out there and the people and the tracks, I really like it. Vegas is a real cool track to race at.
I'm glad to see. Lyall, don't you think it's good to see Vegas back on the NHRA Pro Mod? I mean, that event, I remember, I understand the reasoning, right, for not wanting to make racers tow all the way across the country, but we just heard Vic talk about, in a lot of ways, that's half the fun. The whole experience of going someplace that's a destination.
As long as you have a good weekend. If you have a bad weekend on those long hauls, it sucks.
It's a long ride back to the house.
It's a long ride back.
Those 10% grades leaving Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh, no, thank you, man.
Yeah, if you've never been to Vegas and you plan on going to one of these races, get there on a Thursday and just go to the racetrack and watch the fighter jets and stuff fly around. That's. Oh yeah. I mean, that's on top of everything else. The track's beautiful. You're in Vegas, but watching the Air Force over there do their thing, it's unbelievable, man. That place is just cool.
Yeah.
Have you been to Vegas, Vic, to the Motor Speedway?
No, I haven't.
We got to get you out some more, bro.
I haven't been to an NHRA race. I know.
What?
I've never even been to an NHRA race. I'm going to Indy.
I kind of take offense to that.
Kye, have you been to an NHRA race?
Yeah, I've been to two.
Okay.
One of them was at Vegas.
Okay, I was just curious. I was wondering if Kye's ever been. That always surprises me, because I don't know. I just can't imagine. It's the NHRA. I can't believe you haven't. But it also, I think, speaks to how big this sport is outside of that. Right?
I'm not a good spectator, so that's the reason why
I'm a terrible spectator.
Yeah. If I'm going, I want to be driving.
It's one of the biggest problems our sport has probably is that nobody's a good spectator. I mean, I tell this joke all the time, but I'll ask my dad, hey, are you going to XYZ race? And he'll be like, well, do they have comp eliminator? Because if they don't, and I can't run my car, I'm not coming. You know what I mean? Oh, fair enough, Dad. Never go to a race that you can't race at. That's all right. I get it. But no, we got to do more of that, though. We need people to go. We got to go support these things. We got to show up and make it cool to be a fan. Take us a little bit, man. It's no secret that the No Prep King series has become this a real top tier event series, thousands and thousands of fans. I mean, what do you make of this whole deal? I was trying to tell, I can't remember who I was talking to the other day, Jim Howe, perhaps, another one of your MPK brethren, just about how lucky and incredible it is what this thing has become. I mean, you're a professional drag racer. I mean, you're living the dream. I mean, did you ever think this was possible 10 years ago when you're racing Big Chief out on some blacktop somewhere?
No, I really didn't, man. It started off, it was real fun, but growing up as a kid, everybody wants to be a professional drag racer, or I did. It was either that or riding bulls. I'm glad I picked race cars. But
yeah.
Long story short, man, Sam, our boss, he really took it and ran with it. And every year is something new. This year is kind of slow. It's kind of a transitioning stage to what he wants to do next. But I ain't no doubt in my mind he's going to keep growing it and keep pushing it.
I mean, this is the dream. And that's what I tell Lyall all the time is I think about it for these little junior dragster kids, the ones that are aspiring to become professional racers. And you almost have to grab them by their shoulders and be like, hey, becoming a professional drag racer really is tied to becoming a successful business owner. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, you're not going to get the NASCAR ride. You know what I mean? And it's all downhill from there. But I do think that's possible. And Street Outlaws and No Prep Kings is proof that it is possible to get to a point where you've got enough eyeballs that guys and gals can actually learn or earn a living drag racing. And that's what we've got to create. I mean, we've got to continue working towards that. So there's a chance that, Lyall Barnett doesn't have to have another business. You know what I mean? Or Vic doesn't have to have another business, that we can get to a point where there's enough money moving around. It's changing the drag racing economy. I mean, it pays $50,000 to win Top Fuel right now.
Yeah.
Top Fuel. You know what I mean? And it's we've got to get these numbers. And I know nobody wants to talk about it because it's uncomfortable. But if we can't be so focused on stealing more cheese off other people's pizza. We've got to make the pie bigger. We've got to grow the pizza. And that's what I think the Street Outlaws is probably what Sam's done in getting drag racing as part of pop culture. It's been huge, and we just got to take where we're at now and keep on going, man. I mean,
we've talked about it before. In my opinion, NPK has done a lot for the sport. I mean, put so many eyes on it and just made it cool again. We always talk about it. They made drag racing cool to a lot of people that may not have found it to be cool before. And I mean, when they came to Bradenton, we didn't even have the stands that we have now. And imagine it was elbow to elbow. Like, it was insane on the little old wooden bleachers we used to have.
Oh, it's crazy, man. I mean, I told Sam the other day that, like, I think you could sell thousands of tickets to watch Kye Kelley race a big wheel. Like, it's about the stars. And that's something that the rest of our sport has been a little slow, you know, to the game on, where the cars are secondary to the men and women that drive them. And I think that they've shown what's possible when you start to tell these stories. Like, I'm no sort of Olympics fan, but like, you turn on the TV on basically any channel right now and something about the Olympics is on, and they immediately do some little story on, here's the background on this guy, and his dad trained him since he was 2 years old to be a cross-country runner, and here he is at the Olympics. And the next thing I know, I'm like cheering on some Norwegian dude that I can't, because they sold me on it. You know what I mean? Like, they introduced me to him and sold me on him, and that's what.
And now you're invested, and you want to see that guy win, and it's
and
cool.
I don't care what he does, archery, shoot that pistol all weird or whatever the hell they do. Like, you just fall in love with them, and now you want to see them succeed. And I think that that's what No Prep Kings has shown us is possible. Is it's not really about Pro Mod or steel roof and quarters or big tire or small tire. It's about all these characters. You know, Lyle, you've driven the bus a lot on that in the NHRA, but you've seen the both sides of it, because this is the thing that I don't think everybody realizes, that with that comes a whole lot of baggage and responsibility, right? Because now you got people talking shit about you on the internet. Now you got people mad at you or whatever. You didn't call this person or whatever. I mean, Lyle, you take a lot of that because you're very candid on your podcast with Stevie Jackson, right? And not everything you say is positive or like is well received, but isn't that kind of par for the course? I mean, or do you think that's just what you got to get, thick skin if you're going to do this?
Oh, you definitely have to have thick skin. You know, we got a bunch of heat just after our last show for not talking about, you know, something that went on in a different sanctioning body, you know, and part of me's like, get your own damn podcast, you know, if you want to, you know, like, we just talk about whatever we want to talk about, you know, and it's no offense. We're not talking about somebody else because we don't want to. It just, you know, you try, just like we got plenty of stuff we can talk about, but you're not going to keep people watching the show for the next 6 hours. You know, but, and kind of off the cuff, but, you know, social media and the internet is single-handedly, in my opinion, killing the grudge game, right? Everybody is scared to lose a race because they're scared of what somebody's going to say to them on the internet.
It's dead and stinking. It ain't killing,
you know? And like, I mean, I'll be honest, I've turned down some grudge races because there was no win in it for me. You know, like, I can't win. If I win, I should have. If I lose, it's just internet doomsday for me. And I'm kind of guilty of that, you know, and it sucks, you know, that's the way it is, but it is what it is. You got to either like you said, you got to thicken up and just be able to take one on the chin and hit somebody when you need to, or just go do something else. You know, there's plenty of other things to do. Build planter boxes and garden, or, you know, like Courtney's professional sand trap breaker now, you know, there's all kind of things you can do. She wears dairy cow pants and stuff like that. But, you know, there's all kinds of other things to do. But if you're going to drag race, you better be a thick skin MFer, because there's people that watch you all the time, and most of them are just looking for something that you do wrong, you say wrong, you lose, and that's all they want to talk about. Kye Kelley goes out and wins a race. Yeah, you're going to get some congratulations. No Prep Kings is going to post about it, you know, but you go out there and red light, or somebody catches you calling somebody a stupid MF or something, it's the next 2 weeks you're fighting hate mail, death threats, and, you know, you've got drones flying over your house and stuff, you know, like, just is what it is, man. It's just the way of the world. So you either can take it or you can't.
What's that process been like for you, Kye? Because, I mean, you're like one of the biggest stars that has been created by No Prep Kings and Street Outlaws. Like, how tough has that been? I mean, you've had to have love life air out in public. You've had all this stuff air out in public. Because I don't know that everybody's built for that.
Yeah, man.
Oh, Kye, before you start, here recently, I did see on the internet that you're not the fastest No Prep Kings guy. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
All on the internet, it must be true.
Yeah, I'm waiting on him to flash his time. But long story short, man, I learned if they're saying my name, that it don't matter. You know, I'm staying relevant no matter if they're talking bad about me or good about me. Some people do push me far enough to where I comment back, but 90% of the time, I just ignore it. You know, I mean, God rest her soul, you know, people think that me and Lizzie was in a bad place, but we were actually really good friends. And she really did dump me, but the whole internet thinks that I dumped her. So, you know, I could go out and win a race, and the first person on there says, "The hell with him. He's a piece of shit. He dumped Lizzie," you know. But I just let it go. You know, me and her used to laugh about it, you know, the comments and stuff. But it's brutal, man. Yeah, but I just feel like as long as they're saying my name, I'm staying relevant. People seeing my name, is tagging my page, and I roll with the punches.
I bet it didn't hurt your T-shirt sales, did it?
No, not at all.
No, I mean, and that's the thing is it's tough, but I can see it. Do you think that's true, Vic? Are you seeing that in the grudge game, like that nobody wants to lose a race because the fallout on social is so bad?
It's all about the internet now. It's not about like what happens at the track. It used to be so much better. Like people used to have like real grudges. Now it's and also what's killing it is that they're letting the people in the comments negotiate the race. People will post, "Oh, what do you think will happen if these two line up? Oh, that's a bad race. This guy needs it." Like, it's getting just murdered from every angle as far as grudge racing goes on social media, which it sucks because, man, grudge racing used to be like such a big thing, and it's almost like this like well-kept secret. If you weren't at the track last week, you wouldn't even know that the guy that you're about to race did a killer pass, but you didn't care because you just wanted to beat the guy. Now you got to beat the guy, his car, his fans, his tuner, like the track. You're racing 100 people, and everybody's afraid to take the loss, like Lyle said. Because, I mean, most of the time, the win isn't even worth it. Like it's like Lyle said, he could race. If me and Lyle race first round of my first race, if I beat Lyle, huge for me, right? I'm not supposed to beat Lyle. Lyle wins, he doesn't win anything. He just goes to the next round. Like, oh yeah, you lost to this dude. It's his first time racing, and people being so vocal about all these things is like just killed it because you don't think about that. It used to be you didn't think. You saw a guy, you didn't like him, you had to beat him, and that was that.
Well, it changes the way. One of the best examples I can give is UFC. You used to see guys go in there and fight to win, but then the stakes got high. They were taking chances, throwing punches. If it was the last 10 seconds of the third round, they were going to close their eyes and start swinging. Right, because they knew there was so much to gain by that win or an epic knockout or whatever. But then the stakes get high, and everybody's shorts got sponsors on them, and Reebok's involved, all these big companies involved, and then people start fighting not to lose, and those are different things. You know what I mean? Fighting to win versus fighting not to lose.
And people like in boxing and UFC, sometimes they say that people pick their fights and they won't fight certain people because it's not worth it. It's not worth the loss, or they'll make more money fighting this guy or whatever it is. And also, like, that's another part of grudge racing. Now, if, I go out with my grudge car and I beat Kye Kelley, the whole world knows. So now the next track I go to, nobody wants to race this guy. He just beat Kye Kelley, who went 369. You know what I mean? So it's changed it a lot.
Did you get pushback, Kye, from going and running a race and turning on the scoreboards? Did the other racers, do they like that? Or are they mad about it? Or is that just what it is?
I mean, really and truly, I was one of the last ones to do it. Like, everybody's done it, So I did it at a few radio races, back in the day. But it, I don't know. For a long time, it was like, we're not lighting the boards. We're not letting nobody know what we run, blah, blah, blah. But everybody's done it, the last couple of years. So I didn't figure it mattered. It's a prep pro mod race. So it's not really times that I'm going to be running on a no prep track. Because our tracks, I don't know, they feel pretty good early, like those tracks, but in the middle, our tracks are nothing. So the big wheel stand I did against Weatherford, like, you won't hardly see that on our races. So it's
I'd like to see the boards get lit at MPK.
Yeah, I mean,
people that don't
I think it would be more entertaining.
It would be easier to beat people, I can tell you that, if you could figure out what they're running. Like Wes said earlier, everybody's talking about draggy times, and so went 365 and 380, and I mean, you don't know what they're running. You're over there trying to race your lane, and you're trying to
imagine doing the rules.
Yeah, you're just trying to race the person that he is. Like, he can be fast. You don't know if he's fast that day. So
I would hate to be the guy who has to do the rules for a series that doesn't show times. That's kind of suck.
Well, he actually gets to look at the times. When he's doing the rules. So
okay.
That's easier.
Okay, good.
Well, yeah, because it would be, and you're also like, just the same thing they deal with in NHRA, where you don't know if people are really showing their hand. Yeah. And that, I mean, and I think that's quite frequently the case, that guys know if they go out there and, hang a 10th on everybody, they're probably going to be getting some weight Monday morning. So everybody's kind of playing poker, which is awesome. and exciting in one way, but it makes it real hard to race against them because you just don't know where you stand.
Yeah, and
Lyle,
Sam's always
sandbagging over there.
Yeah, Sam's kept a guy in the tower, this whole time. They call it I can't even remember what they call it now. Anyway, he's the guy that keeps the fairness going. So he's supposed to sit up there and look at our times and add weight where weight's needed or whatever. But as y'all seen, Pro Chargers always ruled NPK, and we've always chased them. So I just refused to try a Pro Charger because I want to beat them with something else. Tried nitrous, and now I'm working on blower. So.
What have you enjoyed the switch from nitrous to the screw blower?
Yeah, end of the day, man, a big Pat Musi motor with 7 kits on it. It's the greatest thing in the world to me. Like, I love it. But, I'm a 200-pound driver. Lizzie, I think she was 130 pounds. She was barely at weight. So it's just hard to get to weight with a steel body car. So I think this new car with the short wheelbase would probably get to weight, but a short wheelbase nitrous car is hard to control, A short wheelbase blower car is a lot easier. So I don't know if I could ever get the weight. It'd have to be like a titanium front half, titanium back half, like something that's probably not safe at the end of the day,
Yeah, unfortunately, because that's something that that's what I love about 8th Mile racing is that we're able to keep the nitrous combination relevant. Do you think Ricky showed us it can be done. Do you think that we'll see anybody come back and try to make a run at nitrous racing in quarter mile pro mod?
I mean, maybe the deal that Doug Winters put together at the Night of Fire just a week or so ago, the 1,000-foot deal. I know that the NHRA fans and stuff don't want to see anything but quarter mile, but I will tell you, I'm a firm believer that you would see a handful of nitrous cars come over if they did go to 1,000 feet. Do I think they're NHRA is going to? I don't think they will, but I think it's something to look at if we start to worry about, the future of the class and whether we're going to be able to maintain. We've had great car count this year. We've had full, you've had to qualify to get in all year long. More than 16 cars have shown up in every race. I think at least 20. And, but with running quarter mile, I don't think so, Wes. I don't think that. I think Ricky, he's retired 45 times now, and I think that as long as he is here, there'll be a nitrous car, and if Thielen sticks it out with Ricky, even if Ricky doesn't race, I think there'll always be at least one. But as far as newcomers coming in, I don't think so. I think if they did, they would do like Kye and switch to some form of blower. Obviously, that's your only choice, or some turbo stuff. But
do you think, Kye, the quarter mile versus 8th Mike, have you ever had an NPK fan come up to you and say, I wish you guys were racing quarter mile? Because I kind of think it doesn't matter. I mean, I know there are some hardcore folks that, I've got some friends that would rather not race than not run quarter mile, but I just don't think it matters. Do you ever hear that from fans?
I don't really hear it. And as far as our surface, I don't really want to do it either. So, I might do it on a prep track, but, a lot of times at the 8th Mile, I'm so ready to throw that chute and get out of that car because it is nasty.
Oh, I love that. I'm so ready to get out of that car. That's what I think people need to hear is it's like, this shit is sketchy enough. Because I had a conversation earlier this week with Richard Freeman, and we were just talking about safety, and I said, that's one thing that I really believe and I'm very proud of with our format is the 8th Mile. I mean, these cars are going in some instances well over 200 miles an hour, and they weigh 2,700 pounds, 2,800 pounds almost. Yeah. Like we can't. I don't know how I feel about 265. I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about it.
Lyle, as a driver, what's more fun, 8th or quarter?
Well, there's as far as legal pro mods, they're just two different animals, man. Like an outlaw 8th Mile pro mod car will flat stuff your pecker in the back of the seat when you let go of the button. Quarter mile stuff, I'll be honest, the Pro Charger combination is the easiest to drive over here. I miss the turbo combination bad, and I love the guys at Pro Charger. They make a great product, and everything is good over here. But there's nothing that pulls like a turbo car the last 1/8 of a mile in a quarter mile run. I enjoy the quarter mile. These things run 250, and I like it. But like I told you when I came on, I'm looking so forward to going back outlaw 8th Mile racing. They're just two totally different animals. In outlaw form, I would love to stretch one out in a quarter. Do I want to go 5.0s at 300? Yeah.
I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen.
I would do it. You know,
I think it's going to happen.
If Carl Stevens called me tomorrow and said, "Hey, Todd wants you to drive the car. We're going to go to Vegas for Streetcar Super Nationals or something, and the goal is to go 5-0s at 300. I am booking my ticket yesterday. Like, yes, I'm in. So, Carl, if you're watching and y'all want to do it, call me. I'm ready.
Oh my God. Do you hear it? Because Bradenton, it's a quarter-mile track, and like a lot of those events started out, like especially US Streets, where there was some radial quarter-mile stuff. But do you hear it from fans, Vic? Because it seems like they're pretty programmed for that outlaw 8th mile.
We've had to overcome that though. Like there was a time where people were very upset that we went from quarter mile to 8th mile, and still you'll see the comments every once in a while, like, "Oh, I wish they would go quarter mile. Oh, it's a quarter mile track. Why don't we run quarter mile?" And like, grow some balls, run quarter mile. we get all the comments. Easy to say from the stands.
I would come ride with
personally. Personally, I'm good. I'm with Kye. When we get to 660 feet, I'm ready to get out of the car.
Well, I mean, Stevie said it one day on here that like pull the parachutes at 250 plus miles an hour. It's an experience that's different. Gets your attention.
Then you have people like Lyle, who Lyle's aroused in the corner here.
Oh God!
Yeah, he's one to run half
take this
mile.
thing quarter in a minute, and I can't wait.
Can't wait.
We had 10-foot chutes on this car early in the year, and I'm like, man, this thing is about to pop my eyeballs out of my socket when I pull the chute down there. And they're like, oh, we don't really know. And so we got to look, and we put 8-foot chutes on it, and like it is a completely different ride down there. But like a really bumpy racetrack, if you've driven these things enough, Kye, you would know. Y'all racing some shitholes. But if the shutdown's really bumpy, like there's almost no brake pedal at all, right? That thing gets to wheel hop, and there's nothing you can do. And like these things, the first probably 0.8 to a second and a half after you pull the chutes, when I know doesn't seem like that long, but when the sand trap, Courtney's favorite, is coming at you at 250 and you can't touch the brake because the car is still hopping off the ground and doing all this shit, like it's a wild ride. But I can't wait. We're gonna do it right here in a minute. And I've killed 2 parachutes. I just went to the 8th mile, and I was like, man, I don't feel like I got a lot of parachute back there. And I got out, and it blew a panel out of one of them. And like you can 100% tell. At Phoenix, I ran quarter mile. I had a chute tear just like this one just did, and I got on the radio and I'm like, I have no chutes and I am going into the desert. You send the chief of the
rescue
owns that casino, because I'm about to roll it right in its back door. But if you're dependent on 2 chutes and you don't get one, or God forbid you get 0, it is a wild ride down there. Wild.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, hey dude, I gotta say we may after your performance at the Pdra race, Kye, we may have to see you put that black Camaro in the mix at the DI Winter Series. You may have to spend your winter in Bradenton with us.
Yeah, he finds 2 more numbers, he'll be in there.
Jeff was talking about that, like maybe trying to put my running gear in another car. So,
well, hey man, I tell you what, we talked about this early on. Yeah, that would actually be badass. Hey, real quick,
that would be sick.
How come no one ever built one of those Mustang Pro Mods? Remember that Mustang Pro Mod body that Dan Schoenig announced like 2
years the Fox body, right?
Yeah, it was a Fox. Yeah. Are you kind of surprised? I'm surprised no one's done.
They're probably still waiting on the bodies to show up.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just think I'm surprised because I don't know. I don't know what the aero is like on it, and a lot of times it seems like they don't really know until they race one. Or at least
but NHRA gives like a break for nostalgia cars. That might fall into that because it's a break. It ain't going to be aerodynamic.
Yeah, and I think it's like spent some real money in the wind tunnel this year to give them the data to do that. Like I get 15 pounds under what a new body Camaro gets running the 69. So that option.
What is how much is the aero? Is it a factor at all in the 8th mile?
I said that too, but when I went from a Buick Regal brick back to my 3rd gen, it's definitely something there.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, downforce and stuff, on the big end of the racetrack. The Regal's got a flat back glass. It's hard to squat the car on the big end. And this Camaro, you got to take the wicker bill off. So it is something there.
It has some.
And the new Camaros do better 8th mile than same as they do quarter mile.
Well, it's better. Very apparent over here. Like you can take a new model Camaro and a 69 like I've got and run them identical to the 8th, And the new body Camaro with the 5-star body will outrun us 3 numbers and 2 or 3 mile an hour out the back. Like it's a big deal quarter-mile racing for sure.
I noticed that in Pro Boost, there's a bunch of that body style.
Yeah.
The new Camaro.
Yeah. And if they don't start doing something about it, rules package wise, like just a straight up rule break for the nostalgic bodies, it's going to turn into pro stock. Like everybody's just going to build new model Camaros, and we do not need that. Like
no.
There are tons of people that come to the racetrack to see nostalgic body pro mods, and if the new model Camaros show up, it's it wouldn't be good for the class.
Do you think it's going to require somebody coming out with like a super slick, old school body, like or what will it take? Because I remember there was a time when everybody was up in arms in NHRA Pro Mod that, well, everybody's building 63 Corvettes, might as well just call it Pro Corvette or whatever. And then the next thing comes out and everybody switches to that. But it does seem like this 5th gen Camaro thing is sticking around a little longer. Yeah. What do you think it's going to take? Like a significant weight break? Like, is that to motivate someone to build one of those cars?
I just think just something, right? Like it's 15 pounds is all we get. And it's not enough, in our opinion, the 15 pounds under what the new model Camaro has to weigh with the exact same combination. I don't think that's quite enough. But just something, some kind of incentive, 20 pounds, 25 pounds, whatever.
Yeah, that's what we get. No prep, 25 pounds.
In the 8th mile, I don't.
And then those new C7 bodies are coming out too.
Yeah. The
Synergy composite one. That thing looks sick. I think.
And that's like the 3rd iteration.
Derek Menhold posted one the other day.
Yeah. Menhold's got a new one coming.
Supposedly that body is really trick. And I think it's the same like wheelbase and stuff as the 69 Camaro. So you might see some people swap from the Camaro body to that.
It's interesting, man. I'm with you, Lyall. I just think that I was so glad to see you go back to the Camaro, because it's like, I always argue that the cars are not the stars, but they are a part of the story, and especially like Kye is married to that. Like, I mean, anybody who meets, you meet in the street that knows who Kye Kelley is assumes that he's racing a 3rd generation Camaro, right? Because that's how we got to know him. Not everybody's as tied to a car as Kye is. I think some of these guys have driven enough different things that it doesn't matter. But Lyall, I mean, I bet you still hear a lot of people just assuming that you're racing beer money.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's like the car that they've found out about you in.
I've been asked about it twice today. There's some construction workers over here working on the new tower for Indy, and I've already been asked twice today about beer money. And I'm like, man, that you still watch that shit box? I ain't even raced it in a year. But I still want to offer like if I come to a no prep Kings race, maybe like a swap. Like you drive beer money for a day, I'll drive your car for a day. Might get you hooked, dude. It's not for sale.
If you ain't quarter mile, I feel like you could make a pass in my car. You're going to have to shut it off at the 8th.
Sounds like you'd like it.
Yeah,
you got to shut it off at the 8th, though.
Get you one of the big black boxes like the Top Fuel guys have, and just shut me off. Like, nope.
Well, that's what Troy Perez just put that in the comments, that he's going to get one of those master shutoff switches for Vic's Pro Mod, so that he can stand behind it with the big red button. As soon as that thing wiggles,
that's enough.
Shut that bad boy down.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. Well, hey guys, thank you all so much for being a part of this. Kyle, I appreciate you taking the time to shoot the shit with us here this afternoon. It was great to see you at the Pdra race. I know that they were excited to have you. You could hear it. It was awesome watching even the photographers when you beat Randy Weatherford in round 1. Like everybody's like, holy shit, he won. He beat Randy.
Did you see that video with the starting line guy? He was like, holy shit, he won.
I thought it was awesome, man. I'm going, we need more of this, man. I mean, it was a great
crazy
thing. Go ahead, Vic.
Sorry. I didn't even know who won the race. No, I didn't even know who won the race. Like, only thing I knew was that Kye Kelley beat Randy Weatherford.
Well, see, my crew guys are young guys. They're 20 and 23 years old. So they don't know anything about lighting the boards, and they never look at my time slips. So they was like confused as hell. Like they seen, 71 and 67, and they're like, you could see them on the video, like, what happened? So,
I think it's awesome.
Great.
Man. I really do, dude. Well, hey, dude, thank you a bunch for joining us, Kye. Be careful. I'm sure we'll be talking soon, and we'll see you out as the No Prep Elite Series unveils. It's kind of the final run of the season, heading out west before they get this whole thing done. You're leading the points, aren't you, Kye?
No, I'm like number 7. So when I bring this, I'm planning on bringing this new car out and making.
Who's leading the points? Is Ryan leading the points?
No, Giuseppe. Giuseppe's pretty much led it the whole year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about him.
He had a very good run.
Yeah, I'm not talking bad about him. He's one of my friends, but he don't have the fastest car there. He's just been the most consistent all year. You know, that's what I normally am. But yeah, he's doing really good this year.
Well, hey man, we're excited to see what the rest of the year holds for you, and hopefully we'll see you down in Bradenton this winter doing battle with the biggest names in the business. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. Thank y'all.
See you.
Thanks, Kye.
All right, good seeing you guys.
Lyle, Vic, man, I appreciate the time, dude. It's always fun to catch up. I'm glad to. Are you testing more than one car, Lyle, or are you just are you focused on one hot rod today?
Yeah, Ken ended up making it, and Dillard is here wheeling Jose's car, and then Dustin Nesloni's 8th mile car, and then there's some Australians here who I was talking to at the back of the trailer, and I said, so what are you guys doing? You taking the car back? And they were kind of on the fence, and I'm like, if you're on the fence, just leave the summit here, race the winter series. You will not regret it, and then kind of figure out what you're doing from there and take it back home after that. And I think I've talked them into it. So
is that green twin turbo car?
No, this is it's a black screw blown car.
That green twin turbo car, whose is that? That's a bad son of a bitch, bro.
I said something about Australia. That's why I thought it was that car. That car is beautiful. I think it's a Bickle car. Somebody posted it today. I think it's sick.
I think Jamie Miller's tuning it, but it is badass, man. But I really want to get some. I'm drawing blank on their names right now, and it's sad because I know them really well. But gosh dang it, the guys from Australia that go real fast have been like 270.
Paul Mohayat.
Thank you.
That's who's here. Right? That's it. That's him. So he's
them
here.
Guys are cool as shit.
Yeah,
like great guys, hardcore racers, have a good time, party, good people. That I want some international flavor. Like we had Belushi run in 23, and we had Dimitri run last year. I want Dimitri back because I like that international flavor. Like I want to be able to promote that people are coming from all over the world to be a part of this particular deal, and that's what makes it a World Series. Like if we didn't have that, I think we would want it. We want that international flair. So we need to try to get those guys to come be a part of it. You know, Zappa, John Zappia, the top door slammer icon. I think he'd be an awesome one to have involved. It's a well-respected name. I see in the comments Victor Bray. Like it'd be cool to have some of those Aussies, some of the guys from Europe.
We need a call to action. We need some of these international guys with badass pro mods.
Put those things on a boat. Get those things over here.
Yeah, let's get them over here. Let's do something. Hit us up. Let's make it.
We're gonna run out of pits. Is what we're gonna do. We're gonna run out of.
We'll figure it out. We got the Freedom Factory next door.
We'll park them around the oval at the Freedom Factory. Are you doing any more crash up derby shit with Cletus this year, Lyle?
I want to. I told him. Actually, talked to him earlier. And I've told him like, dude, I want back into the 2.4 hours of La Mullet. Stevie and I made a real ass of ourselves down there the last time. We need a comeback tour.
Me and Wes should do it too. Me and Wes probably put you guys on the trailer. I'm
lock it in.
Long races.
Vic, get us a spot in there. You're close with Cletus.
Race car right into your door, turn 1.
Well, and let's challenge accepted.
I know it sucked to lose your invite in the mail to World Series of Pro Mod.
And I take that back.
No, but Vic, the promoters got to go up against these drivers. Like we got to pull our little Vince McMahon. We'll be Vince and Shane McMahon, right? Throwing our hats. I'm gonna tell
Cletus. I said the next time you invite Lyle and Stevie, me and Wes want in.
Yes, and we'll bring our own Mercury Grand Marquis or whatever the hell they race. We'll bring our own. We'll bring a ringer in. So. No, we need to do that, Vic. Get that locked in. When Cletus is done driving his jet boat up and down our drag strip, get him to lock us into one of these crash up derby deals, and we'll do that next.
Very good time.
Oh, it sounds like. I mean, it looks like fun, dude. And the fact that it's like a huge happening and thousands of people show up to watch these guys race Crown Vics,
unbelievable.
It's incredible. It really is incredible.
I've had the worst wreck in one of those events yet. I got pit maneuvered into like the wall where you enter the track. It was fun, but it hurt the next day. It was a good hit.
Wes, if you're going to come do that deal, though, you 100% have to lock in some burnout vehicle for the next night. You will not. That was the most fun. I mean,
what do you think about doing 2 or 3 weeks ago? Well, it's been longer than that. We were talking about, I want to do a big burnout competition during the winter series. Can we do that over at the Freedom Factory, Vic?
I'm sure Cletus is down. Anytime, listen, if you could tear some shit up and make some smoke and flames and just tear shit up, Cletus is in.
I want to do like a $10,000 invitational burnout competition.
God, that
you know, like do a big payout, invite only, and invite only the baddest
Lyle gets
dudes.
so excited.
Oh.
Lyle's gonna roll over there and one of Tidwell's Pro 275 cars.
No, I call the bald regal, and ain't nobody taking it from me.
Oh, Doug Cook's bald regal. I really think it'd be fun. Like, and then it like add it to, because I really want, especially the World Series. Like, the way we're envisioning this is stair stepping up to this big thing that's like a week long happening. And how cool would it be? Like on Wednesday night, you know, we have a party on Thursday night. Wednesday night, you have the burnout competition. Tuesday night, maybe we do, I don't know, something
It'd be cool
else.
to have
but have
all of our
something happen every night.
drivers. And if we could get most of our drivers to get into that, that would just be cool because we always see them doing everything else. Let's see them doing that. And, you know, you kind of like let your hair down a little bit.
It is so much fun.
And it's like, what's crazy is there's like skill to it. Like it's entering how you come in or whatever. And I think it's pretty incredible, man. And it's just great. I mean, there's another thing that like the drifters are trying to steal this shit from us. Drag racers made burnouts popular and they're making money on the back of our invention.
Yeah.
Pisses me off.
Doesn't
you know,
it?
we gotta take it back. You know, it's our deal. So, well, hey guys, thank you so much for joining me.
Sure.
I haven't mentioned it enough, but a huge shout out to our sponsor, Stroud Safety. Log on to stroudsafety.com. Support the people that support us. Of course, Redline Synthetic Oils, the official oil of Drag Illustrated magazine. Make sure you check out Mark and the team, redline.com, and our own Racers Club. Two of our ambassadors right here on the show right now. Racers.club. We got a brand new drop that just came out. The stuff's sick. We did a golf hat that is absolutely badass. The racer hat. You can get it on the website right now. Otherwise, guys, I'll see you at the drag races. Vic, you're coming to Indy?
I'm coming to Indy. I decided when I wanted to go, and as soon as you guys started talking about it, I got goosebumps. I'm like, I'm going.
All right. Well, Mike and I are coming to Indy. JT, are you going to come?
I don't know. Lyle, should I come?
Yes. And Vic, about Thursday night, we're going to have a real good time at the hotel bar, and then we're all getting in the car with Wes the next morning so he can pull over, let you vomit on the way to the racetrack. How do I know
That's
that?
how you win.
Because I did it at one of U.S. Nationals.
Yep. We got to.
So you have to do it. You have to keep it going.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody has to, man.
Wes has got to be telling a really good story and be like right in the thick of it. And I'm just like, hey, dude.
I was telling him this like really deep business thing. We were in this, and he's like, Wes, I appreciate 1 second, buddy. Could you pull over? Because I'm about to puke. And I'm like, oh, here I am trying to freaking learn you something, trying to share some wisdom, you know, and we got to pull over to puke. That's
dude, I'm superstitious. If I did that and I won an event, I would do it every time I went to that event.
Man, it hurts so bad.
He needs to. That's the highlight of my career, I think, when I got that picture.
Highlight of my career.
Yeah, when I got that picture, my DI career, the highlight was Lyle winning after puking on the side of the road. I even reenacted it.
Hey man, good times. And it was funny because JT's like, hey, I'll go to Indy, but we got to stay at the Hilton Garden Inn so I can see my buddy Jason, the bartender. I'm like, you know the bartender at the hotel by first name? You know, he has his number, don't you?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he's buddies with
I can't hang out with you guys. I'll be there Friday night or Saturday morning.
Yeah, smart play. You got to come in Thursday. We'll go Thursday, Friday, and then we'll bounce, you know? Well, unless if Lyle's going rounds, I guess we're going to have to hang out and cheer him on. So
yeah, and Pro Mod finishes on Sunday this year, so you can stick it out, Vic. It's not.
Somebody let me do tire pressure or something. I'm a really bad spectator.
I know it's a lot of fun having.
Look at him. I don't really know.
I don't really know if I want you checking the air in my tires.
I'll give you a microfiber and a jug of McGuire's quick detail.
You're quickly getting on my hit list when I get my car done.
I'll keep you entertained, Vic.
Oh well, I'm gonna need you guys to go racing with me. I might go shake down my little no time car or small tire car this weekend. So
let us know. We're ready.
All right, let's go racing together. All right, guys. Hey, thank you guys for joining us. And most importantly, thank all of you for tuning in each and every week. We appreciate the hell out of you. We can't do this alone. If we're going to get drag racing to where it's going, we're going to have to go together. So thanks a bunch. Remember to click like, click share, click subscribe, and we'll see you next Wednesday right here on the Drag Illustrated YouTube channel. Appreciate you, boys.
Thanks, guys.